Hey everybody, it's Rolly. And so today we're talking on our soulful journey so we're on day 15 of our soulful journey. And today the topic is art therapy. So if any of you guys are like me, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like there's no way that that's going to be something that's going to be helpful to me. But one of the things that I've discovered over the years is how much that it really is helpful, how much that it really does make a difference in terms of how we are able to use art to be able to express our emotions and being able to release it. And so it can come out in so many different ways. And so one of the ways that I use in terms of being able to process is I talk a lot, but I also, when I'm just needing to kind of just into that reflection, is writing. And so I often will write something that is important to me or that means something. And so my intention this morning was to actually write out something about a situation that I've been really struggling with in terms of my own responses and my how I'm feeling about some things, because part of it makes me kind of feel guilty. And even though I still stand true to what I believe, but there's still that part of me who is helpful and kind and caring that doesn't feel that helpful, kind, and caring because I am choosing and consciously choosing to say no to helping somebody because I don't feel that that person should be getting the help from me. And so, not to say that this person doesn't deserve the help, but that's one of the ways of me being able to kind of process it, is being able to like write it and think it. And so when my dad died, for example, I had some people that were very angry with some of the things that I shared, my thoughts, my feelings, my patterns, whatever it is that was going on. And I had some people that were very angry about how I handled things or what I said. But they're my feelings, my thoughts, my memories, my whatever it is that I needed to do. And so I shared them. It was my 3 o'clock in the morning musings or whatever it was that was going on. And I just needed to do that. But then on the same end of the spectrum, on the opposite end of the spectrum, is that I had people that reached out to me and said, oh my gosh, I was feeling a lot similar to that particular situation or whatever it is. And so my writings, which were my ways of being able to release things, were allowed to be heard by others who sometimes just needed to hear that same angry feeling of whatever it was that was going on, that they were struggling with that. Doodling. So that's another thing that will often happen. So when I started with chakra dance, and that was one of the things that was really interesting, is that I'm like, yeah, I can't draw, I can't do art. And what was really interesting, because you're not supposed to be like, you don't share your pictures to the people in the circle for anybody to give any feedback as to what it is that it's supposed to represent or whatever. And so what was really interesting, though, is that I did get feedback. I did get feedback from people, because it was like, oh my gosh, look at that face that is in your drawing. And it was like literally just different colors and different things. And it would have like this pattern of something that would look like a face or would look like a heart or would look like whatever. But it was just because it's done through dim lighting. So it's like not like you're like really trying to keep track. And when I would choose my colors, I would just choose whatever it is randomly. So like I didn't even know what colors. It wasn't a color pattern or anything like that, because it was really just free drawing. So during that time frame. And so it's just all this different ways of being able to do things. The other thing, so last week, the week before, I can't remember what day it was, the days have blended together. But one of the things, so not that long ago, is that I was working in my office and I was getting some things done at my desk. And so I cranked up the tunes and I was just like moving to the music. Like that's that creative piece. That is also part of that that art therapy and that connection, and that like just being able to kind of be in that moment. Some people will use it to crank up the tune so that they can get their house cleaned or whatever it is. It's just being able to tap into that that part of who you are. Like I have some people who get right into like the digital art where they can actually create some really cool things. Like Alexis found an app within my page that, or when then one of my an app on my phone, and so she actually created like an avatar, and she's like, hey, now you can actually do this, because I use Telegram to chat, and she's like, now you have this avatar that you can actually use when you're chatting, and you can actually do like this really cool stuff. And so like that was that digital piece of being able to create and being able to put things together. And so it all depends on what it is that's going on. Today we stopped in to see my son's aunt, who created a beautiful outfit for my grandson, who she used her creativity of being able to put things together and having that piece of like, and she had like a thought process as to how she was doing it. And sometimes it's just making things, right? So like sometimes it's not even having anything in particular. It's just being able to have something that is simple. And then like I said, it can just be something as simple as just doodling. And so you're just sitting there, whatever emotions are coming up, and just doodling. And so one of the things that I share with my clients a lot is like being able to just journal. So journal doesn't mean necessarily that you have to use words. Maybe it's like little pictures of flowers, or maybe it is being able to, as you're writing, going back in and filling out the like if you're writing mother, for example, then you're like circling in the, or coloring in the O and then the E, and or making like this fancy H around it. Like, so like sometimes I'll have my notepad and I'll just be kind of just jotting things down. And so like I'll write something, and then it's like, oh, like, look at that. It's got like this little, so I'm just going to write the word healing. And I don't know why the word healing, but so like just in being able to write the word, where it's like, so, okay, so I can like make things fancy. And I've always got pencils on my desk, little pencils, or like these crayon things. And so not necessarily that I like create this art that I just kind of keep, but like being able to just use one of these colors and then just kind of like coloring it in or whatever. And it's just, I don't think about it. I just kind of do it, and then just kind of move through that space and move through that time. So one of the things that I am going to invite you to do is to join me on a virtual art therapy session, where we're going to like go through some practices or go through some different ways of doing things. So I will have some dates. So as we've been going through this challenge, there have been some things where I'm like, okay, well, we're going to get together to be able to do this. So I'm going to come back. So once we kind of get all of the things put in place, then I'm going to be setting some dates to be able to come back and do some of the different things like this one. And so we're going to be using some music. We're going to be using sound or colors. We're going to be using paper. We're going to be using markers or crayons or whatever. And so like there's going to be some instructions that we're going to pull together, and we're just going to go within and tap into our own selves and do that piece of things. So looking forward to being able to connect with you guys soon. And so for those of you who are catching the replay in a couple months from now, then perhaps we've already done this piece, and or maybe we've actually set up another one. So who knows? But if you're catching this later on, then that's one of the things as well, is that that'll also be recorded, so that way there you'll still have had that experience. So talk to you all soon, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.